what does a project manager actually do? And I don't mean the PMI by the textbook answer. I mean, what do they actually do on a Tuesday when everything's gone to crap and a client just moved the deadline up by 2 weeks for no reason other than that they're on a power trip? That's what this video is going to answer. And I want to do more than define the role. By the time this video is done, you will understand what project management actually is, how it works in the real world, and what PM's day actually looks like, and whether or not this is the right career for you. My name is Chaz Cox. I'm a PMP certified project leader with over 7 years of experience across IT, construction, and engineering. I've managed multi-million dollar programs. I've built teams from scratch, and I figured out this career the hard way without a fancy PM degree, without someone showing me the ropes, mostly by making expensive mistakes and paying close attention. I teach project management the way I wish someone would have taught me before I got started. So let's get into it. Before we define anything, I want to make sure you understand what's actually at stake here. Project management is one of the most in demand, transferable, well compensated careers in the world right now. And I mean that literally. Every company, regardless of industry, regardless of size, runs projects. Product launches, system implementations, office expansions, regulatory changes, mergers, rebrands, construction, all of it is a project. And every single one of those projects needs someone who can lead it. And that person is a project manager. The demand for this role is not slowing down, it's actually accelerating. PMI estimates that we will need 2.3 million new project related roles every year through 2030. And that gap between the number of projects that need to get done and the number of people who actually know how to lead them, that gap is widening, which means if you develop this skill set, like truly develop it, then you should never struggle to find work. You will never struggle to find a company that needs you, and you will have the flexibility to move between industries, between roles, between companies in a way that almost no other career gives you. That's why this matters. Let's start with the definition, but again, not the textbook one. Here's the simplest way I know how to explain it. A project is a temporary effort with a clear start and finish and a specific outcome to create. That's it. That's all a project is at its simplest form. It's not ongoing or routine or standard tasks. It has a start and a finish line, and it produces a unique outcome. Planning and opening a new restaurant location, that's a project. Implementing a new payroll system across a 500-person company, project. Building a new data center from the ground up, big project. Even planning a wedding is technically a project. I mean, think about it. It's got a fixed timeline, fixed budget, very specific outcome and goal, and a lot of stakeholders with plenty of opinions that you need to manage. Now, a project manager is the person responsible for making sure that outcome actually happens on time, within budget, and at the right level of quality. That's the job. You're not the one doing every task. You're the one making sure every task gets done by the right people in the right order and with the right information and with enough visibility into what could actually go wrong before it does go wrong so you can avoid it. And the PM is the person who holds everything together. Now I want to walk you through how a project actually moves from an idea to a reality, because every project, no matter the size, no matter the industry, goes through the same 5 phases. Here we're talking the standard delivery. Agile projects will be covered in a different video. But once you understand these 5 phases, you'll be able to look at any project anywhere and immediately understand where it is, what it needs, what are the risks, and where it's going. I'm going to use a real example to walk through all 5 phases, something people can picture clearly. So imagine your company is moving its entire office to a new building across town. New space, new setup, everything. And you're the PM. Here's how the project moves. Phase 1 is initiation. This is where the project gets its identity, a product, a problem, or service to deliver. Let's say someone important in your company decides we need to move into a new building. That's an idea. Before anyone has done anything about it is the seed of a project. Initiation is where you take that seed and ask the foundational questions. Well, what are we actually trying to achieve here? Why does this matter to the business? What does success look like? Who needs to be involved? And critically, more so, is it worth doing it all? In the office move, initiation is where you sit down with leadership and get clear on the scope. So how many people are moving? What's the timeline? What's the budget? Are we taking our existing equipment or buying something new, all new? What's the risk if we get this wrong? If we're delayed? Most project failures, and I've seen plenty of project failures, trace back to this phase. Someone skipped it, someone assumed instead of confirming, someone started planning before they knew what they were actually planning for. Someone left out bits of information that were crucial in this step. It's like putting a puzzle together that doesn't have a picture on it. Almost impossible. Like they actually make these. They are just a blank white sheet, and you just got to figure out where the puzzle pieces go. It's brutal. Initiation is really where you get aligned before you even start planning. That takes us into phase two, planning. In this phase, it really separates the great PMs from everyone else. Planning is where you figure out how you're going to get from where you are to where you need to be. And more importantly, it's where you figure out everything that could go wrong along the way. In the office move, planning is where you build the full picture. What are all the work streams? IT infrastructure, physical movers, furniture and setup, vendor coordination, communications to employees about the timeline, security access, parking, internet, all of it. And who owns what piece? What's the sequence? What depends on what? If the internet isn't set up before equipment arrives, what happens? If the movers are delayed by a day, what happens? So planning is not about predicting the future because you can't predict the future and it's going to go sideways at some point. So planning is a thinking hard enough about the future that you're not surprised by it. Phase three, execution. This is where the work actually happens. And here's something that surprises a lot of people who are new to the role. As the PM, you are usually not the one doing the work. You're the one making sure the work gets done. You're coordinating, you're communicating. More importantly, you're removing roadblocks when they come up. You're making sure that the IT team and the facilities team and the vendor are all working from the same information. You're the connective tissue between all the moving parts. In the office move, execution is like moving week. The equipment is being packed, vendors are showing up, IT's setting up workstations in the new space. Your phone is ringing constantly. There's three problems happening all at the same time, and your job is to stay calm, prioritize clearly, make decisions quickly, and keep everyone moving. This is where servant leadership skills can shine. That's execution. Phase four is monitoring, controlling. It really runs parallel with execution. It doesn't start after, it starts the moment the work begins, similar to execution. Monitoring and controlling is where you track whether the project is on track and make adjustments when it isn't. Are we on schedule? Are we on budget? Is the quality of the work meeting the standard we committed to? Are risks we identified starting to materialize? Are new risks emerging that we didn't see coming? In the office move, monitoring is where you realize on a Wednesday that the elevator in the new building can only fit half the equipment you plan to move on a Thursday. That's a risk you didn't see. Now, what do we need to do? How do you how do you adapt from that? Do you add a second day? Do you reprioritize what moves first? Monitoring and controlling is where you catch those things early enough to respond instead of finding out about them after it's already crisis. Phase five is closing. This is the most skipped phase in project management, and it really shouldn't be. Closing is where you formally complete the project, confirm the deliverables are met, get sign off from the stakeholders, and more importantly, document what you've learned. What went well? What would you do differently? What did you discover about your vendors, your team, your planning process that you'd want to carry forward or never do again? In the office move, closing is day one in the new building, let's say. Everyone is set up, the internet works, the equipment is in place. You walk the space with the leadership team, confirm everything is as expected, get their sign off, and then you sit down and write the lessons learned. Because the next project is already coming, and the best PMs get better with every single one. Okay, now I want to give you the real answer to the original question. So, what does a project manager actually do on a Tuesday? Because the five phases are the project structure, but the day to day is where the job actually lives. So, here's the real day. You start your morning by reviewing the project status. Where are we against the plan? What's due today? What was supposed to be done yesterday and isn't? You're not doing this from memory. You have a system that you built that tracks it, but you're also the one interpreting it and deciding what it means. Then you have a stand up with your team, only 15 minutes. So what's it trying to figure out what everyone's working on, what's blocking them, what do they need from you, or what do they need from each other? You spent 20 minutes after that writing a status update for your project sponsor. two paragraphs where the project stands, what's on track, what's at risk, what you need from them, if anything. Then you have a stakeholder meeting. One of your department heads has concerns about the timeline. Everyone has concerns. You listen to the concern, you ask questions, you don't react defensively. You go back to your plan and assess whether the concern is valid. And if it is, you figure it out. You figure out the options and come back with a recommendation. Mid afternoon, something unexpected happens. It always does. A vendor missed a delivery, a team member was out sick, and they owned a critical piece of the project that was due that day. Maybe a decision was supposed to be made from leadership last week that still hasn't come, and you're trying to figure out where it is. Problem solved, you make a call, you communicate impact, you adjust the plan, whatever, you figure it out. End of the day, you update your documentation. You know what changed, what was decided, who said what. Because 3 weeks from now, someone questions why the project took the direction it did. You have the receipts, and those receipts have saved my ass more than I care to admit. If it's not documented, it wasn't said. So that's a Tuesday. It's not really glamorous. It's not sitting in a corner office making strategic proclamations. Although I've seen a PM role lead to that role if that's your goal. It's communication, judgment, coordination, problem solving every single day. And if it sounds like something you're built for, let's keep watching. Now, I want to be direct with you about something. The skills that actually make a great project manager are not the ones most people talk about. It's not the softwares or the methodology. It's not reading the PMBOK. It's not whether you know what a Gantt chart is or how to make a critical path. The skills that make a great PM are people skills. And I'd argue that they're harder to develop and rarer than the technical skills you would learn in your career. So we'll start with communication. It's not just talking clearly, it's translating the same information in a room full of engineers, then walking down the hall and translating it again for the CFO, and then getting on a call with the client and saying it a third time in a way that gives them confidence without overwhelming them with detail. Same truth, just three different languages. And that's what great PMs do. Next, leadership without authority. Most of the people you need things from don't report to you. They have their own manager, their own priorities, their own problems. Getting them to move on your project and to actually care about it is one of the hardest and most important skills that you'll ever build. This is where you can build trust with the people you work with by practicing servant leadership. Servant leadership is really the philosophy where the project manager prioritizes their team's growth, well-being, and really success above their own authority. Instead of using a traditional top down approach, the PM acts as a facilitator and coach, focusing on removing obstacles and empowering the team to self organize and deliver results. Now we'll get into like risk thinking. We're not talking paranoia here, more so a pattern recognition on negative outcomes and the response to them. The ability to look into a plan and ask, what's the thing nobody's talking about that could really blow this thing up right now? And then they do something about it before it happens. Adaptability. Things will not go according to plan. They never do. You're going to have to deal with it. The question is whether you'll face the unexpected. The question is whether you'll panic or adjust. Best PMs I've ever seen and the best moments in my own career are when everything was going sideways and the PM, you know, sits back, gets quieter, not louder, calmer, not more reactive. That calm is a skill and you can learn how to do that. This is my favorite non-technical skill in a PM is execution. It's not really a people skill, but it's definitely a skill you want to have. So it's actually doing what needs to get done exactly when it needs to be done. Being able to not only identify tasks, but prioritize them and then actually doing the thing. Planning to do something is the hidden evil. It feels like an accomplishment, but then you need to follow up with the work. Shockingly, this alone can make you a top performer in most work environments because most people aren't able to focus or care long enough on something to identify, plan, and execute their work with little oversight or without someone telling them what to do. So be good enough at your job where you are self-sufficient and don't require much oversight. I'll be honest, my one-on-ones with my supervisor are kind of lame, mostly because I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where if I take care of my stuff and the client is happy, then I don't need to talk to him much. And that's a good spot for me. I really enjoy that. Listen, if you like working with people, understanding what they need, figuring out how to get them moving in the same direction, this career is made for you. If you like seeing something go from blank page to finished reality, from an idea in some conference room to a thing that actually exists in this world, this career is made for you. If you want to sit alone and code all day without talking to anyone, that's probably not going to be a good fit. And that's okay. If any part of what I've described today made you think, that sounds kind of how my brain works, trust that instinct. Because here's what I've seen over and over in 7 years of working in the PM space. The people who become great project managers are almost never the ones who follow the perfect path. They're not always the ones with the degree or the certification or the perfect resume. They're the ones who are genuinely wired for this, who get a quiet satisfaction from watching a complicated thing come together, who feel a pull towards the mess instead of running away from it. Not everyone's built for this career, but those who are can very much excel. And if that's you, you're already closer than you think. Let me bring this together. Project management is the discipline of taking a complex goal with real constraints, real people, and real consequences and leading it to completion. It runs through 5 phases: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closing. The day to day is communication, judgment, problem solving, and risk management every single day. It's not just a email meetings job like everyone paints it to be. And the skills that make someone great at it, the communication, the leadership, the risk thinking, the calm under pressure, the diligent execution, those are buildable by anyone with the right focus. This channel exists to help you build them. If this video gave you some clarity, subscribe, please. Because every video I make is built on the same promise: real project management taught the way it actually works and not the way a textbook describes it. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment and tell me where you're at in your PM journey, whether you're starting out, a veteran in the field, or just trying to figure out if it's the right spot for you. See you on the next one.